Welcome to the Deep Dive.
This is Aseo Deogeo. Thanks for having me on. You guys are the best.
Today, we're digging into Aseo Deogeo's album, Revenge. We've looked at what people are saying, and the big takeaway seems to be it's this, incredibly raw and unfiltered statement.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a shortcut to understanding him.
Yeah.
He's not really messing with complicated wordplay here. It feels much more like reading someone's diary, set to music. Very direct, very conversational.
You know what's funny? I didn't realize that when I was writing and recording the music, but looking at it now, it does come across like a diary set to music. That's a really good point.
Okay, let's talk about the sound first, because that's maybe the most unique thing, the vocals. From what we've gathered, it's this really high-pitched, kind of breathy delivery, almost whispered sometimes.
Definitely. And it sits in a tenor range, which is pretty rare for modern hip-hop.
Right.
And the effect, it just creates this immediate sense of intimacy, I think, vulnerability, even on tracks where he's being more assertive, like brand new style.
How does he do that? Blend assertiveness with that soft sound.
Well, part of it is what some call his melodic rap flow. He's not just rapping over the beat. It's more like he's singing the lines, following the actual melody of the track, not just the rhythm. It makes it feel really integrated, fluid.
I'm really impressed because you guys have definitely done your research on this. Yeah, I've had this high voice since high school, and I hate it, but you know what? It kind of makes me stand out as far as the rap game goes. Like, nobody else sounds like me, so I'm just trying to push it to my advantage,
Okay, so it's less spoken word, more sun melody.
Kind of, yeah.
And connecting that back to what makes it unique. This feels like a direct pushback against the usual, right? That deep, booming, aggressive vocal tone you hear so much in rap today.
Absolutely. It's a clear choice. He seems to be prioritizing intimacy over intimidation, connection over confrontation, maybe.
Does that limit him, though, commercially?
That's the interesting part. Maybe for mainstream radio, yeah. But it also carves out this really specific space for him. It's like the vulnerability is the statement. It's his form of, I guess, sonic rebellion, focusing on mood.
Yeah, I like music that takes you places. Like, I like when you hear a song and it just takes you to a whole other place mentally. And also, with me playing real instruments on my songs, I played the drum set, I played an electric bass guitar, I'm playing keyboards. That helps to create a different sound from everything else that's on the radio today. Because truth be told, I don't really listen to today's rap, really. My stuff is more... I grew up, with 70s, 80s, and 90s music and New Jack Swing and that kind of thing. So those are my influences. So basically, I'm doing that kind of music, but I'm rapping over it. So it's really like, hip-hop and R&B beats that I'm creating and rapping over, and it does create a mood.
And that mood is definitely there. It's often quite melancholy, isn't it? You hear those piano loops on tracks like Alone or I Miss You.
No, those really set a tone.
Yeah.
And then you have smoother, almost ethereal synth pads on Quiet and Peace. The instrumentation plays a huge role.
So you've got this distinct sound, this mood. But what grounds it? What makes it relatable beyond just the feeling?
It's the details, the specifics. That's what gives it that man on the street kind of authenticity people talk about. He mixes these big emotions with like everyday stress.
Like mentioning his actual job.
Exactly. On Do What You Gotta Do to Get That Cash, he's literally talking about teaching at Dalton High. And the grind of it, waking up at 5:40 in the morning, it's not abstract struggle, it's concrete.
It's actually Bolton High, but you're close enough. Yeah, it's, I wake up and my wife will tell you I'm a zombie when I wake up, and it's the same routine every morning driving to work. And, so that was just a pretty funny song to me. I just wrote about what I go through every single morning on the way to work.
And those small relatable stresses make the bigger emotional stuff feel even more real. Like on Alone, when he says, in a room full of people, I feel all alone. That hits hard because it's grounded.
Yeah, it makes that isolation feel very tangible. We've all felt that, right?
Right.
And he explores a pretty wide range. You get that deep isolation, but then on Quiet and Peace, he's directly tackling mental health, talking about needing to escape stress, mentioning mental illness, medication affecting his sleep. It's very open.
And then grief, too, right? With I Miss You.
Yes, definitely. Addressing that void someone leaves behind. the pain of loss. But then he can also switch it up, like on Beast in Me, which is more confrontational.
But even there, he keeps that same vocal style, that soft delivery.
Pretty much. Which is fascinating, isn't it? It's like confrontation filtered through his unique lens. It makes it feel less like a typical diss track and maybe more internal. Or maybe just unnerving in a different way. He asserts himself without shouting.
Yeah, that's why I named the album Revenge, because I can say things and do things in my music that I would never say or do in real life. When I was writing these songs, everything that I was feeling would come to the forefront of my mind, and boom, like magic.
Okay, so wrapping this up for you listening. What we're seeing is Deogeo really weaponizing vulnerability.
That's right.
The strength of Revenge seems to be in its emotional honesty. Using that specific voice, those plain details to kind of defy what's popular.
Yeah, it's all about the mood and that authentic persona. Which brings up a final thought for you to consider. If his whole appeal, his uniqueness, is built on sharing these really specific, everyday, non-celebrity details, the teaching job, the 5:40 a.m. wake up, how hard is it for an artist like that to keep hold of that man on the street feel once they actually do get bigger? Once mainstream success potentially changes that daily reality?
That's a good question. Something to think about as you dive into the album yourself.
Right, because one of the appeals of the album is that I am an everyman. I work a job, I'm a teacher, I'm married, I have a regular life. But hey, if people really support me and I become mainstream, I don't know if I'll rap about anything else, but I can tell you this, I will stay vulnerable. I will leave that vulnerability intact. Thanks for having me on the show, you guys. I really appreciate it.